Welcome back, I'm Shelf Unit, and this is my continuing Let's Play of Broken Sword 1, Shadow of the Templars, I believe it's called. Been a couple of weeks since I've played, so my remembrance of this game is not just the title is a bit weak, but where I am in it is a bit weak. So, we're at the museum, I remember that. So let's go inside the museum again. Oh, we have another person here now. Can we talk to this guy? Yes.
Pardon me. Oui, monsieur? Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't mention John D. at all.
Most remiss.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Wait, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read. So he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied art and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on.
Okay. Let's
Thanks for your help.
figure that out. Let's talk to this person now.
I beg your pardon. Are you André Lobineau?
That's me. You want my autograph?
No. I was told you may be able to help me.
Help?
My name is George Stobart. I'd like your professional opinion.
Well, okay. Shoot.
Does the name Montfaucon mean anything to you?
Sure. It was the most grisly spectacle in Paris until the Revolution.
A public toilet?
Montfaucon was the place of execution for many thousands. A dark temple of death, with row upon row of arches, each one framing a grim exhibit. Scores of rotting corpses swung on creaking rope, while the crows devoured their flesh.
That explains the image of the hanged man. I found a reference to Montfaucon in Ireland, in a village called Lochmarn.
Lochmarn? That's where Pegram was digging.
That's right. He'd left the excavation before I arrived. Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a conference. I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
I'd like your opinion on a medieval manuscript.
Vraiment? Do you have it with you?
No, it's too fragile. And besides, there are certain people who'd stop at nothing to get their hands on it.
Intriguing. Do you have a copy of the text?
There isn't much, only a few Latin phrases. I was kind of hoping you'd help decipher the pictures.
Without seeing the manuscript, that's a tall order.
Just tell me one thing. What does the image of two men riding on the same horse suggest to you?
The Knights Templar. Does the Templar seal appear on this manuscript? I'd love to see that for myself.
The manuscript is being looked after by a friend.
In Paris?
Yeah, not far from here, in fact.
Well, just give me the address and I'll come round and take a look.
I'm not so sure about that. Maybe I should check with her first.
A female friend?
Yeah, she's a woman. Can you tell me anything about the Knights Templar?
I sure can, Georgie. Soldiers, diplomats, mercenaries, monks, bankers, you name it, the Templars fit the bill. The greatest fighting force in Christendom, the militia of Christ.
Jeez. I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochmarn tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, Assassini, the assassins.
This friend who has the manuscript,
Oui, the anonymous girlfriend.
she lives at 361 Rue Jarry.
Ah,
Why
I
would
know
I
it well.
tell him this?
I'll drop by. Just as soon as I can.
How did the Templars get their name?
From the building in which they set up their headquarters. The King of Jerusalem gave them part of a mosque on the Temple Mount. It was said to have been the site of the original Temple of Solomon. The order became known first as the Knights of the Temple, and later as the Knights Templar.
You're a mine of information, Andre.
Glad to be of help, Georgie.
How come the Templars became so wealthy?
There was a constant stream of new recruits to their ranks, many from noble families. They were required to swear a sacred oath of poverty, chastity, and obedience. So, their money, goods, and lands were donated to the order. The Templars soon held land in France, Scotland, England, Spain, most of Europe, in fact. The poor Knights of Christ became the wealthiest power in Christendom.
Is it true the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found?
Ah, who knows? So little knowledge of what really happened remains. Or, if it does, the truth has never been made public.
What do you mean by that?
The Templars have attained mythological status, like the King Arthur of the Britons. There are people even now who say the Templars still exist.
Do you think that's likely?
No, not for a minute.
Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point. How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
How did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
Pretty much certainly. In this world, anyway.
Where was the site of Montfaucon?
To the northeast, near the Canal Saint-Martin, but there's nothing there now. The old gibbet was torn down during the Revolution.
Okay, I think that's...
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Okay, so... we need to get what do we need to do?
No, monsieur. No. No. Okay, okay.
I'm just looking, dumbass. Okay.
It is closing time, Monsieur
Fair
Lobino.
enough. We're in...
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
Good night, Monsieur.
Okay. That was not quite what I expected. But I will take every option I can get. Ooh, looks like the thieves are here.
Quit fooling around, you moron! Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
Okay.
What the... Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
Okay.
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor Georges.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
Yes, you
I
did.
don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
You mean it was you who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod.
Let's see what...
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
But that's probably the last one that we...
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces. There's a guy working on a loom. A knight with a crystal ball. The knight's scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobino.
Oh yeah, I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again. He was over the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
The gem fits perfectly, but what does that prove?
maybe the tripod has to be in a certain location.
There's nothing on the manuscript to indicate where, though, is there?
Okay, so... Not a great deal for me to do.
I'd better get back to the quest.
Okay, that signals that. So we've dead-ended these 3. What's this? That's the new Montfaucon. Let's try that one then. So.
Excuse me, officer. What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
Joy of France.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
I had no desire to talk to the crowd. Hey, you with the balls.
Oui?
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No! I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu! A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitic aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crownheads of Europe had the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so. That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be? A lot more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult. Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not.
What do I need to do? Let's try that. Let's see what's here.
A knight, there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess. Somehow it looked more modern than its neighbor. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout.
I'll talk to him last.
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell. In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
That's why they only used it for that.
A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. Excuse me, Father.
Pardon?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all, monsieur. It will be my pleasure to help you.
How long have you worked here?
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert for nearly 6 months now.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church, then.
Just a little.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah oui. Anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that. What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest. Many of them were executed in the square outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of mammon, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
I noticed that the stained glass window on the left looks more modern than the middle one.
You have a keen eye, monsieur. The original window was destroyed in the last war. It was as old as the church, early 14th century.
Oh, man, that's awful.
Oui, a terrible loss. Still, the church and the other windows survived.
Okay.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
We have seemingly exhausted everything here. Well, apart from the disc. So let's. I have noticed this. Don't worry about that.
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques du Molay, was burnt on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow, you're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Everybody.
Look, a red nose.
Ah, you are a clown.
A clown?
No, if so, you would be a much better jongleur.
For a moment, an idea capered around near the spotlight of my attention, but fell down the pothole of abstraction before I could focus on it. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Let's see what he thinks of the red nose. Here's a policeman.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No, although you juggle like one. Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing. And not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Who ever heard of a plainclothes clown?
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur, you have it.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Okay. So what is the deal with this?
I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Can we get a move?
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
Okay, now for my secret weapon. The juggler
Okay.
was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury.
Oh, but I have one.
Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change.
Okay.
I had no desire to talk to the crowd.
Now we can look at this.
In French, English, and German it read, "In 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the knightly order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine."
Well, since we're here now, we might as well use the sewer key on this. Can we not do that right now?
I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
Okay. Down we go. Ooh. What have we got here?
The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templiers and something about innocence.
What's in the third door?
My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe.
Okay, and what's this? Okay.
The hook lay in a bed of chain. The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The wall seemed in very poor condition. The inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had cracked and was falling away. I wondered why. The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The hook lay in a bed of chain. If I wanted to get deeper into these catacombs, I was going to have to get onto that path.
Okay.
If the near edge hadn't crumbled away, I could have jumped it easily.
Okay.
The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templiers and something about innocence. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe.
What's around here? Is there anything to look at other than the door? Does not appear so.
I pushed against the door, but it seemed to be locked.
Can I unlock it? I don't have a key, but I've got this. No. There's a goat. Okay.
The hook lay in a bed of chain.
I mean, there has to be something down here.
Rats! It's locked. The door was locked.
What can I use to unlock it? I mean, I've got this hook, but it doesn't seem to be able to do anything.
The hook lay in a bed of chain. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence. The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone.
Anything else around here? No, 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 stop. Okay.
I didn't have time to sit around. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported.
Oh, let's talk to this guy again.
Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
Is the right-hand window original?
Oui, monsieur.
I've got a red nose.
Oui, so you have.
Have you seen this man before?
No, I have never seen him before.
There's grease paint on this tissue.
Oui, you are correct.
That is not a good idea. No. What do you think of this?
A precious sleeve and valve? What should I think?
Never mind. How about this for a gem?
It is very beautiful, monsieur. And yet, I feel that there is an air of suffering about it.
I've got a medieval tripod.
Monsieur, you are a walking treasure house.
No. I have here a sewer key.
Ah, oui?
I was in Ireland recently and I brought back this plaster.
My sister brought back a shillelagh.
I thought about using the shake and shock on him, but I couldn't do that to a priest. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Then what do I do? And there has to be something in the sewer that I can do.
I had no desire to talk to the crowd.
Nothing other than this here.
The door was locked.
Yep, buddy, I'm feeling a bit like that myself. Okay, let's see if this works again.
The door was locked. The door
Yes, I know
was
the door
locked.
is locked. Come on. Okay. Can't get in that door. Can get in this door.
It was time for some brutal destruction.
Oh, okay.
Hey, that's hollow! I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this. There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall, with a lever in the middle of it. Here goes. The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap. I'd pulled the lever right over.
Okay, so I assume this is what this is for. Okay. Fair enough. I think with that, I'm going to call this an episode. I'm not sure how long this is. It might be on the shorter side, but we've achieved a lot, I'd say, this time. We managed to get an awful lot, and I don't want to sort of go down into any hidden caves without having a whole episode in front of me. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please subscribe. If not, do not worry about it. Thank you again. I'll see you next time when we descend into the depths at some point. Goodbye.